How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Some of you have asked me, what the heck am I investing in my portfolio right now? So this video, I'm going to share with you all the things I'm looking at and all the stocks that I've invested in already. Now, when I first started making these videos about my investments, I had about 60% cash, but then I've been spending it. I've been buying a lot of different assets here and there, and right now, as of this moment, I'm about 30% cash right now. I still want to have a little bit of ammunition left because I am not sure if we hit market bottom, but if, let's say, the market just slowly trickles up the next 6 months, then I would have said, hey, at least I got some money in there for it to grow. And if it keeps on going down another 50%, I wouldn't be too scared even, because then I would have cash and I'm going to invest more into the stock market. Now, before I go any further, I have to say, I am not endorsing any of these stocks themselves. This is what I bought myself. I'm not saying go out there and buy it for yourself. You really have to take this for entertainment purposes and not investing advice. So I can only just kind of talk about it. Asset values can go up and down. So enough of the disclosures. One of the stock holdings I'm holding on to right now is IXC, which is an energy ETF. Now, I talked about this for a while and oh my gosh, it hasn't been doing very well in this stock. First of all, after I bought it, then comes the Russia and OPEC price war, and then this infectious disease thing going on, and it really pummeled this stock a lot. As it was going down, I bought more and more, and so now I'm averaging about a $20.13 average buy-in right now. The current price is about $17, 15% down from my average buy-in price, so this is gonna hurt. I personally have lost more than $10,000 in this purchase, and right now I'm not even blinking an eye because this is not money that I actually need in order to survive, and I'm pretty comfortable with the wild swings that it have. Maybe it can even go down to $5. I'm just gonna keep on holding because I have full confidence that energy in itself, it's just not gonna go to zero. We will eventually come out of this and we will eventually need a lot more jet fuel. We're gonna need a lot more oil, and eventually I think we're gonna recover from this, and when it does, I feel like it will shoot back past $20 a share, and then after it passes this point, then I'm gonna be making money. My anticipation is that this OPEC, Russia, and US price war thing is eventually gonna blow over. The countries are just hurting way too much. They cannot balance their budget. A lot of oil business is gonna go out of business. This might actually impact the IXC ETF. If any of the companies within that component just goes out of business, then it might actually permanently reduce the stock price a lot. A lot of people are very pessimistic about energy ETFs. I personally am just gonna hold on. If you hold on long enough, I feel like it's still gonna come back. I might break even in 6 months or so, and it's just kind of in the back burner for me, and I'm crossing my fingers. If we already hit bottom already, then this is great. If not, then it's okay too. I can wait 6 months, 2 years even. Before I go further, let me introduce you guys to Webull, which is a trading app I personally use. If you open up an account through my affiliate link down in the video description below, you can get one free stock just for opening it up, and if you deposit more than $100, you can get yet another free stock valued between $2,000 and $1,000. Now, right now I have this Webull app on my phone. I mainly like to use this for aftermarket data. Not everyone is always awake while the market is open. Maybe sometimes during the evening, you like to look at the market price of a certain stock, and this is what you can do with the Webull app. You just go in there, look up the stock ticker symbol, and it will show you aftermarket data that the native iPhone stock app does not show you. Another stock that I recently just bought into is Bank of America, BAC. My average buy-in price is $21.23, and I'm up about 5%, but it fluctuates a lot. The reason I invest into this is because back in 2008, when there was a financial crisis and the financial stock just got clobbered, and then Warren Buffett just comes in and buys Bank of America for $5 or so a share. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. There's just blood on the streets. People are afraid that Bank of America is gonna go bankrupt. The end result is that it didn't, and it raised all the way up to about $35 right before this crash. So right now, I am slowly easing into this stock. $21, I thought it's reasonable enough. If Berkshire Hathaway holds it, I kind of hold it sort of like a proxy, right? I feel like they probably did a lot of research into this company about the management. You look at all the Warren Buffett books, they're like, oh, they have to have good management, they have to have good cash flow, a good amount of, cash reserve just so that the company will not go bankrupt. Well, Bank of America is like a very unique thing because they have precedents that the government will not let them fail. At this point, banks are a lot more protected against these kind of financial shocks, and this is not the industry that we're too worried about. We are really worried more about airlines and as well as hotels, the things that got hit hardest during this market downturn. So whenever I talk about Berkshire Hathaway stock, the Warren Buffett stock, I want to go over their current holdings. They have 177 billion worth of stock, 125 billion in cash, which is 41%. They have this cash just ready to deploy just in case, things get really, really crazy. Things did not get crazy, and we're not sure if things are really going to get crazy, but they're sitting on this cash just in case. Maybe airline stocks, goes to like 5% of what they were used to be valued at, or, maybe they'll come in and buy some of that. But I like to look at their percentage of their portfolio, how much they're holding on, and it gives you a little bit of insights, right? I'm just gonna tell you about the first 5 of them, right? The highest percentage of holding that they have in this $177 billion worth of stock. Now, it used to be a little bit more, right? Because, they held stocks all the way through all this time, through this downturn. So right now, they have Apple, which is 35% of their stock portfolio. This is pretty crazy, right? 35%. This is just considering the 177 billion, okay? 35% of that is Apple stock, and then they still have, outside of this 125 billion. So it's not like they're holding 35% of their portfolio. Bank of America is 11%, Coca-Cola is 10%, American Express 7.2%, Wells Fargo 6.2%. So the rest of the stock that they hold, which is like a couple dozen, is less than 6% or so. It kind of means that they really, really believe in some of these stocks, right? Apple, Bank of America, Coca-Cola, American Express, Wells Fargo, okay? So this is part of the reason why I personally feel like I don't have to dig too deep into Bank of America. I feel like this is relatively safe. I can just invest by proxy, right? Because I'm a lazy person. I don't want to do too much research into Bank of America. I don't want to go read about, all their CEOs, all their executives, and see what kind of track record they have. Because Berkshire Hathaway, they're not in it to lose any kind of money. Eventually, I feel like they're gonna make way more than the stock value that was there before this market downturn. So I have really high faith in that because they've done so well for many, many decades. This is what I consider investing by proxy. The next thing that I started investing in, which is just a couple days ago, I started buying back into IRM, which is Iron Mountain, is an enterprise level type of storage solution. My purchase in was $23.80, and now it's about $24. It's about on parity. I did not earn or lose any money, but if it goes down, fine. If it goes up, fine. If it goes down more, I'm just gonna buy and hold. Just because a stock went up 5–10%, right? I'm not gonna sell it right now. I'm gonna hold on long term until everything is rosy, everything is back to normal. Then I might consider selling some and, just kind of reaping the profits when everything is back to normal again. If you buy right now, you're gonna get about 10% dividend, although we don't know if they're gonna cut the dividend or not. So take that 10% dividend in with a grain of salt. I had Iron Mountain before, and I talked about it before. I sold it all on February 26th. This is a few videos after I started talking about investing in the stock market and then this infectious disease thing. I personally made a video, and I did not yet sell all of my stock holdings, right? It was only a few days after where things looks kind of sketchy. The stock market went down 5%, and it looks like my profits from that particular stock is gonna get smaller and smaller. I'm like, okay, forget this. I'm gonna take whatever profits I have now, just sell all of it and just kind of like turn my back towards it. And that was actually February 26th. So it turns out to be very good because it dropped a lot after that. And I also liquidated a lot of my other stocks. Most of it is very, very small in comparison to my IRM holdings. I also liquidated my SLV, which is a silver ETF. And I also sold that on February 26th. So did I somehow have the foresight to sell all my stock holdings before everything dropped? No, because while I did have a lot of cash, like almost 100% cash right around February 26th, I still bought back into IXC, which is probably my mistake. You know, in hindsight, I probably should not have invested until, you know, a month later, right? It is what it is, and I am very excited to maybe make a lot of money after all this blows over. I've been talking so much, I need some water. These are the stocks I invested in already. There are other stocks that I kind of have my sights on, and I kind of want to diversify a little bit more, so I am not actually buying too many ETFs. I'm eyeing the S&P 500 stock index fund, maybe VOO, or I am eyeing Boeing. If this situation gets worse and Boeing drops a lot, then I'm looking to buy into Boeing. Yes, airlines are getting hammered. Airlines are probably canceling their plane orders. There's a 747 MAX fiasco. But for the United States, this is like the only game in town in terms of producing large commercial jets, right? So this company is of national importance, and I feel like this is in the same space as Bank of America was back in the financial crisis. Boeing is too important to fail. So Boeing will not go to zero. That's just a fact, okay? The government is going to prop it up. The government is going to bail out Boeing. Boeing says they have enough money to weather this storm. They don't need to borrow money from the government or anything. So this is all okay. But it should give you some confidence that if you invest in it, yeah, it might drop another 50%, but it's not going to go to zero like some companies. Maybe like the cruise lines or some of the airlines, they might actually go bankrupt. They might have no money left by the time this is over. So those things have a real danger of going to zero. For airlines and cruises and hotels, right, with this infectious disease going on, people are going to be scared to travel on those things as long as this is an issue. People don't want to get in the same plane as other people. People don't want to go to a hotel, anything with this social aspect to it. This is especially for cruise lines because it's just like an incubator for disease, right? You're like trapped in there with thousands of people, and if one of them has it, it might get to you. So it needs to get to a point where this situation is completely under control. There's like no one has it anymore, which is not going to be the case. So this means that we're going to have an ongoing problem of people being fearful of traveling by airline and traveling by cruise ship, going to hotels and things like that, unless they do some sort of, I don't know, some sort of sanitary thing where they can make sure everyone is safe even though there's a lot of people around. Going forward, I do think that these industries, without bailout from the government, they are like a prime target to going bankrupt. So with this extra risk, that is why the stock prices like keep on going lower and lower, and you know, to like 20% of its initial value. So one of the things that you want to watch out for is the $2 trillion stimulus package. What industry is the government trying to bail out, and what historically are they trying to bail out right now? I'm not going to go into every single detail of the stimulus package, but if you just kind of browse through it, you'll see some companies being bailed out, and some of them just, you know, the government just kind of turned a blind eye and you just like fend for yourself. You know, if you run out of cash, you're going to go bankrupt type of thing. Any industry that gets a bailout, it's going to get their stock price increase. It's like there's going to be a floor to this price, right? So this is something to watch out for. If they're going to bail them out in this first round, they're probably going to bail them out in the second round, just kind of even it out and stuff, right? So the stimulus package, we're going to get the $1,200 check, $500 billion worth of loans to airlines, which is $58 billion worth, and also to cities and states. That's why in some of the municipal bonds, they kind of did a really, really huge rebound because there's this bailout for the city and states. The hospital industry is getting $100 billion, although I didn't cover anything about the hospital industry, and frankly, I don't know too much about it. Now, down to oil and cruise industries, right? IXC is an oil industry, so this is bad news for myself. That's why the oil industry didn't suddenly just jump up, right? Because I think the bottom for IXC, it was like $15 or something. Now it's like about $17. Sad days for me, right? The stimulus package did not include the cruise industry. So you really have to think about which industry is critical to the US economy, right? If the airline industry goes down, it's gonna be catastrophic because it's gonna have a cascading effect. If Boeing goes down, maybe they're gonna have to buy like other airplanes from other countries or whatnot, and this is not acceptable for the United States. However, if the cruise industry goes down, this is kind of more like a luxury type thing, right? Cruises are for rich people, kind of, right? Middle class, at least. And if they happen to go away, it's not really essential for life or anything. This is kind of like a leisurely activity. So are possibly hotels. One thing I want to say about investing in this climate is that I don't think it really matters where you invest, right? I'm just picking stocks left and right as long as you don't think they're gonna go bankrupt. If you're gonna invest in an industry that might go bankrupt, you might make more money if they don't go bankrupt. The more risk there is, the more gains there is to be made. You're essentially trying to ride the wave of the entire stock market. And this is what I personally am doing right now. Because if you look at the dot-com bust or the financial crisis, every single stock just kind of went plummeted down. It actually does not really matter which one that you invested in because all of those stocks eventually rose up. So if you're asking me which particular stock am I buying personally myself, I have not yet gotten brave enough to invest in like a United Airlines, Southwest or whatever, which Berkshire does hold some of that, right? Delta, Southwest, they hold those. I personally am just riding the wave, the entire ocean, rather than trying to ride a single stock. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to give me a like. Check out my Webull affiliate link down in the video description below and get those 2 free stocks. Comment down below. Let me know what stocks that you're personally looking at. And as always, push that subscribe button and ring that bell icon. Thanks for watching.